Welcome to a world of unforgettable experiences and immersive marketing. Transform your events into extraordinary moments that captivate your audience. Whether it's corporate gatherings, product launches, or community celebrations, our immersive marketing solutions elevate your events to new heights. Immerse your attendees in a world of audio books and podcasts tailored to your brand. Engage their senses and leave a lasting impression. Explore the power of storytelling with our curated podcast content. From insightful discussions to entertaining narratives, we've got the perfect audio experience for your event. Ready to make your next event unforgettable? Scan the QR code now and book a complimentary immersive marketing call with our experts. Let's create memories together. Elevate your events with immersive marketing. Scan the code and let the magic begin.
All right, all right. Here we are. Hello, good morning, Vietnam. I know that's a throwback, but anyway, hello, hello. Welcome to another wonderful Tuesday. Here we are in December, and we are in some great places. I've got a wonderful guest coming in just a moment. You guys are in for a treat today because this is really such we're gonna have such a powerful conversation. We are going to talk about some good stuff, some fun stuff, but really, what can we do to transform your world and your community one podcast at a time? Just think, if you could change millions of people, not just one, but millions of people. So let's see, we got some sponsors today. We've got the List Building Accelerator and the gift giveaway. I'll put that stuff in the chat in just a minute. The Game Changer giveaway, we have people like Kimberly Crow. We have got Jesper, and I've got some other great people. I'll put that in the chat as well. You guys will see. It is free. It's ready to empower your business. 2026 is around the corner. What are you doing in the first quarter of your fiscal year, right? Have you planned to get your visibility, your credibility out there? Are you marketing yourself? Are you ready? And you know what? The Game Changer giveaway is free. That's right. It's free. You're gonna hear from top industry experts. They're giving their stuff away. A gift to self. Note to self, get the gift that keeps on giving. Power your business, power your community, and give back. That's how you do. You support the people that support you, right? The ones that come on stage and edutain you every day. That's what we're doing here. And get ready for January because we've got 3 great stages. We have got the Devastated to Divine Alignment. I'll put that information in the chat as well. And we have Invisible to Influence. That's the second summit that we're putting together. Soul-led leaders. We have also got the CEO Hackers. It is for those wonderful CEOs that, especially my group of people, right? We are kin out there. It is all about those who are escaping corporate America. 2026 is the year the robots are going to kick you in the pants and get you out of there. So be creative. Come on in. Come support the people that support you. And also, portion of the proceeds, especially from the ticket sales, will go to confronting domestic violence. What a way to support your community and change by doing something good. Move it forward. One last thing, you've got a gift, the main gift that's going to keep giving. It's going to generate leads for your business and it's going to help you instead of running a crazy Facebook ad and trying to figure all the analytics and the data out. You can run your own event, whether it's a group, it's a networking event, or a summit yourself. You want to gain leads so you can share with people the wonderful things that you have. You no longer want to be the best kept secret. So it is the List Builder Accelerator. It's a do-it-yourselfer. You get the course, you get the Beyond the Stage course. That is a few videos, my top 3 ebooks, as well as you get a call with me. We're going to do a power hour together. And that is part of that. That is the bonus in that. We get to go through the assessment because I've got this spreadsheet that goes on for days. There's probably 10 pages, 10 tabs, all about your finances, your goal, when to post, when not to post. But you know what? It's just to give you the blueprint to success to run your event. There's a lot that goes into that. And I want to make sure that you have everything that you need to run a successful summit that's going to give some return on your investment. All right, so let me bring my friend in here. Miss Dr. Roz she's a great person. What a fantastic person. she is. I love her to death. We had such a great time chatting. She is just a powerful person, a very giving person, and so sweet and caring that when you're having a conversation, it's just like having a conversation with a neighbor or a cousin. She's so warm and delightful, but she does something that's so empowering in the community. She does many, many things. So I had to bring her on the podcast. So welcome to the podcast, Dr. Roz.
I
Dr.
am delighted. Nicole, you are such a rock star. You're so amazing. Just the way that you show up on LinkedIn, your amazing YouTube channel, like everything is so unique and so beautifully integrated and branded. And you're obviously a rock star at all that you do. And then I'm noticing your shirt. And so I think maybe you're a literal rock star too. I love the music to begin with. So I have a funny kiss story if we have time for me to tell it.
Absolutely. You've got to tell your story. I can't let you go without telling your story. And then we'll tell people all about you because I've got to hear that. Let's start with who you are and what you bring to the table, and then we'll hear your
Okay.
great story. We're gonna go anywhere. I love it. So, Dr. Roz, if you would tell people a little bit about what you do. I mean, I have your bio, and I can go on for days about the wonderful things because you've got the drroz.love website, and people can go there. I'm going to share that in the chat.
Thank you.
But I love to hear, and I know my audience does too, straight from the horse's mouth, the wonderful things that you do because you are, instead of reading that boring bio, let's just get into the energy of Dr. Roz, love.
Ultimately, the energy of Dr. Roz is love. And it is really our mission is 8 billion people loving 8 billion people, one heart at a time. I heard you say that you can reach millions of people one podcast at a time. And so that's the mindset. It is let's reach this big mass amount of people, one heart at a time, one podcast at a time, one word at a time, whatever that is, because it can be overwhelming if you think, I don't know that I can do that. So each one of us probably has this big, hairy, audacious goal within us, and we're not sure how to reach it. And it's just doing the next right thing. And so if you look into the eyes of another human, just extend them agape love, unconditional love. I'm not saying that you have to like everything that they say or that they do. I'm not saying that you have to agree with everything that they stand for, but to extend to them this unconditional love. And a lot of people will say, isn't that emotional? No, it's very cognitive. It's a choice. And so it's very, very easy. It's not a difficult thing to do because you're never having to make a decision. And so that's really me at the core. And then I have three pillars to my business, and we can get into that. But it is ultimately showing up and putting love into the world.
Yeah, show up and shine, show up and shout, and you're showing up with a heart. And there's so many people. We talked a little bit behind the scenes about where I come from, Silicon Valley, and I say kind of divorced it and left it. We used to have fun in the 80s. There was a lot of woo. There was really science stuff. There was Stanford University, Three Eye Spies. There was Marcel Vogel, the scientist who brought the crystal in and introduced that into our computers. A
Mm,
little bit of woo and a little bit of science. We
yeah,
were learning, we were growing. We talked about, there was, 70s and the Star Wars era. We just had everything at our fingertips. Pong was coming in 7 foot, a fax table. You actually had to pick up a phone and hello, dial the fax
right.
number. It was this green and white paper that ran through this big, huge
Yeah.
7 foot table. That's how we got our faxes. Now we just send it on our phone and that qualifies. But the thing is we had all this technology. Now we have this wonderful technology, but the heart and soul and sadly, it broke my heart. It left. The wonderful things, the craziness, the
Mhm.
uniqueness, the fun of the Bay Area, going up there on the train, visiting Golden Gate Park or visiting Haight and Ashbury. It's all big box stores. So it's not just the corporate feel, but it was also personality left. It almost seemed like it's like non player characters, right? In a video game that are just kind of floating around there. And it's a mix mash of things that happened. We definitely don't have time to explore it, but a lot of that became people getting on their soapboxes and beating their drum and just screaming, change, change, change. It's if you're already devastated, if you're already, just feeling broken and withdrawn and stressed out, the last thing you're going to want to hear is somebody just banging on their drum screaming that you need to do something,
Something
shaking you,
different. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You come in and you're educated, you have fantastic energy. You come in at a level 11 of a scale of 1 to 10, and you just want to share
Yeah. Yeah.
what's going on and you want to just really truly connect with people.
Yes.
And if we come back to that, that's where the change in the community
That's right.
is. And how did you get into just this love revolution?
Well, the name of my company is Love Revolution, and it comes from a quote by Martin Luther King. And it says, "A social movement that moves merely people is a revolt, but a social movement that transforms both people and institutions is a revolution." Love is revolutionary. And if you look at my logo, if you look at the word revolution, REVOL, love is even backward in the word revolution. And so, what you're doing, Nicole, is revolutionary because what you're doing is you're saying to people, you have a message, and I want to help you magnify that. So, we're going to do summits, we're going to do podcasts, we're going to do all these things so that, as you said, you're not the best kept hidden secret any longer. Like what you do transforms lives. My dear friend, my mentor is Dr. Vanetta L. West, and she says, I would rather fight for when I'm for than fight against when I'm against. And that's what I'm doing. So when you were talking about the person that's, beating the drum, let's change, let's change, let's change. In a lot of ways, that is encouraging people to fight against what they're against. And I would rather fight for what I'm for. So, and you asked where it started. So I don't know. I'm a lot older than you. I don't know if you remember something called a shrinky dink. Do you know what
Oh,
that
yeah, I burned a microwave with those.
is? Okay.
I
So your
caught it on
brother,
fire.
your brother
You know it.
and you were scientists at heart.
Yeah, oh, totally.
So at 5 years old, this is the shrinky dink that I made at summer camp. And it says, God is love and love is God. I knew at 5, Nicole, that love was a part of my story. I knew that somehow, some way I was going to proclaim love. But then the world kind of came in and the world was like, oh, love is weak and love is passive. And you have to draw divisions. I just grew up in an era where there's just no way you can't love everybody. You can't be kind to everybody. So you have to look for these fake divisions to polarize and divide. And so it was not until I encountered the methodology and philosophy of Martin Luther King Jr., nonviolence, that I realized, no, we're all interconnected. And so much of his philosophy resonated with what I knew to be true, but I wasn't seeing out in the world. And so now, with these 3 pillars of my business, I'm a certified trainer at the King Center for Nonviolence. I teach students how to say no to student loans and yes to financial freedom. And then I also teach on leading with love, how that's empowering. All 3 of those are very countercultural. I feel like a bit like a salmon swimming upstream in all 3 of those. But oddly, there's alignment in that all 3 are countercultural, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, it does. And a lot of people talk about love, but they don't exude it. They don't bring it with them, and you bring that. And it's just, yeah, you can trap more flies with honey, but what's your mission? What's your goal? Are you just sitting there like a welcome mat and letting people walk all over you? Or are you giving that heavy? But you're leading with the love and you're leading with the intent of sharing and caring. And that's part of why this I put stages together was my drive and my goal was even, one of the first summits was in virtual reality with
Mhm.
confronting domestic violence to share that, hey, we have a place we can be safe and we can change the world, we can change the community by bringing the technology forward at low cost or no cost and showing people that, hey, even, what a better way to come in if you're scared to be on camera or you cannot because there's privacy issues. Not everybody should be filmed. So I'd love to just put a plea out there for everybody. Hey, stop filming at all times, everywhere. Give a moment, take a moment, take your energy back. Not everybody wants to be on camera, but that was a safe way to bring
Mhm.
people in to say, hey, you can come in like a panda bear, you can come in like a giraffe, and you
Yeah.
can come on stage. But the main part of that was getting people from point A to point B in a U-Haul truck to move them. Now what? You cannot be free without financial freedom. And this is where I want to get to. We'll get to the debt free in a second, but it is so important to understand how to be responsible with your money, whether that's just opening a bank account, maybe getting a cash app, or something where you can take money. You can run a business online for no cost or low cost. You can have a Shopify store, and you can be out there. You can influence your community. You can do good with the money you bring in. Portion can go to tithing to your church and building a community that way. Portion of your proceeds from your stage, your podcast, anything with For a Cause marketing can go to whatever community you want to support. That way, you're not with your hand out begging, please, please, please give me money. Sponsors want to know, even high level sponsors want to know, where's the money going and what am I doing? Are you going to be there tomorrow? How about sponsoring yourself and taking the control back to say, this is where I want to put my money. This is where I want to do good. This is where I want to be. And so it's a way to do that. And with podcasting, with stages, even just virtual, maybe you do want to go to live events. It's a great way to market. But when you're doing that, you can reach so many people, and people can go back for years and watch something and go,
Mhm.
wait,
Mhm.
she was saying this for quite a while. And when I said, hey, come on the podcast, I'd love to have you and have this conversation, and we were just so open to talk to anybody and everybody. And I think that is so important. When you lead with love, you speak in a certain heart language where you're speaking someone's, let's say, love language, where you can send the message, because it has to be formatted just a little for every person, right? We have to find a way to get the message out with a kind heart, with a direction and a goal, so people will listen, so we can come back to having a conversation. And then, talking about money, I think what this is great is, with all the things you do, there's this debt-free degree that you have for graduates without having a student loan. So what a way to go out in the world and
Right.
build confidence by coming in debt-free and then having the job that you want to have, interning the place you want to, and you don't have to go back to this crazy job because you're trying to pay for this debt that's going to
Right.
stick with you for the rest of your life. It's never going away. And it doesn't just affect you, it affects your family, it affects your loved ones, it affects, if you're getting married, it just comes with you like this big shadow, right? It's following
Right.
you everywhere. How has this changed in the community for parents and for kids saying, hey, we can teach finances? We could teach financial freedom in of this in the larger umbrella, and we can teach financial success in business so people understand money and the magic of what it does bring and the good that it can do.
Yes, 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 yes. Because I think because it's what I call the human algorithm, that it seems as if everybody has student loan debt, which means it seems as if therefore I must also have student loan debt. And that is completely untrue. That is absolutely a myth. It is also very true that 37% of all students who owe student loan debt owe over six figures. Think
Wow,
about
that's a
investing
lot.
six figures into a home. Think about how many cars you could buy. Think about what it would look like if you could take some of that and donate it to your community. And so it is teaching students how to pick their hard, because it is hard to pay off six-figure debt. It is hard to earn a debt-free degree. So they get to choose their hard. And so for a lot of students, like I'm doing a video today about chocolate bars and a lemon. And so, I'm going to share it with them. Like, hey, if I offered you a chocolate bar or a lemon right this minute, what would you want? And, of course, they're going to say chocolate bars. Okay, if I offer you a chocolate bar or a lemon and I say, this needs to sustain you for a long time, which one do you want? Well, they may say the chocolate bar. That's the student loan. But the
Right.
lemon can be used for all these different resources. And plus, inside a lemon are more seeds to grow what? More lemons. So
Yes.
it's helping them understand, not I want this immediate gratification, yes, today, because that's what happens with student loans. Just take the loans and figure out how to pay it off later versus I want to be really savvy with my money, with my time, with my future. And you were talking about it impacts relationships and all these other things. This is many, many years ago. I was just at a dinner party, and one of the other guests said to me, "What do you do?" And I said, "I teach students how to graduate without student loan debt." And immediately, Nicole, she just hung her head. And
Oh,
we know that when that's shame. And shame is the one emotion that has a physical response like that. So when we feel shame, our neck muscles release and we look down. And
yeah.
so I knew something was going on, but I wasn't sure what. Well, she had gotten her bachelor's and her master's in social work, which is applaudable. Thank you. We need delightful. We need social workers who are committed. She had also accrued over six figures in debt for those two degrees. And she was
Jeez.
dating this guy, and he was amazing, and they were falling in love, and they were just beginning the conversations of what would this look like long term, what would a marriage look like, etc. And she disclosed to him how much debt she had, and he broke up with her.
Mm,
And
wow.
oftentimes, when I tell that story, everybody wants to blame him for being a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And what I say is, he didn't sign up for six-figure debt. That
No.
that you can't oftentimes you can't do bankruptcy on that. And some student loans, not all of them, but some of them, even when you get the knowledge and the knowledge is in your head and you pass away, some of those student loans pass to your heirs
Mm-hmm.
for them to
Sure
pay
do.
off. Not all of them, but some of them. And so we have these decisions to make. We have these things that we need to navigate. And if you can walk into your future building personal and generational wealth the minute you walk across the stage without any student loan debt, then why wouldn't you take that opportunity?
Of course. Why not take that opportunity? And you know, it is, and it's like, look, the guy knows what he wants, and it's very rare that people know what they want in a relationship and what they can do or be or who they can be. And it's hard. It's a hard decision, but we do have growing pains. We have to learn from that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we have to pay for those decisions we make, good, bad, or indifferent. It's karmic law, right? Some of that's coming back to us.
Yeah.
And what was that we made? What was that chocolate bar decision? So you get the chocolate bar, it's going to melt in your card like those Girl Scout cookies or whatever, or when we were in school and you got the chocolate bars and they melted in your card because you forgot all about them. And then your parents have to pay $60 worth of chocolate because it burned up. You can't rewrap that and send that out, right?
Right.
You're responsible for that. I remember those things. My mom would take the box and eat them, and then she hid them in her car, and I would find them in the seat. And it's like, how are we going to pay for this? I thought that we had sold it because she was supposed to take it to work and she didn't. But that, but it's the things that we learn in a lemon. You can clean with it. It's good for detoxing. It's a great degreaser. There's all kinds of things you could do with a lemon, and you can prosper and grow and just put the plants outside and the seeds will regenerate forever. And that is another thing. It's teaching that to learn. Gee, I wish I learned that when I was young.
Yeah.
You know, generations of welfare, of going in and not realizing what can I do with this. And I went back to college twice. I went first and got my hair degree and I started taking some classes. And then I went back to the police academy. I know totally different lifestyles there, but there's always two of me. I am from the Bay Area, so
Uh-huh.
I'm a Sag, but I grew up
I was
very
going to ask if
Gemini.
you were a Gemini.
No, no, no,
I
no.
am a Gemini.
Right? But what's funny is you do because I've got that woo. I put my tinfoil hat on, and I've got that very logical science side of me, and that was the balance of what is, and this is the moment for those to come into alignment.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it's just so crazy to see that we don't share that. We don't talk about money. We talk about asking other people for money, and what if we could take that back? And what if you can go into like you get in maybe a course like you teach or something that Dave Ramsey teaches where he's talking about money, talking about paying off your debt. And there's a reason that these shows are popular because we don't get that. You can't expect everything to be taught in a school system. there's only so much many hours in a day, and it takes so
Right.
much to teach the teachers to do that, and they don't all have the best judgment of finances or where to begin. And it's so it let's take our life back, and that's the power of a stage where we can communicate this to
Yeah.
millions of people and start having a conversation. I do want to say hello to Colleen. She's been in the chat. She says hello, Dr. Roz.
Hi, Colleen. Oh, that's how I met you, Nicole. Thank you, Colleen.
Exactly.
Sending you extra
Exactly.
love.
Yeah, absolutely. What a beautiful person and
Oh,
so
she's
supportive.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so but it's the support of the community, and you have people
Mhm.
who come through here and talk and are absolutely having these conversations. I didn't understand that in business. There's a whole money thing. You got to have a conversation with yourself in business. So if I went to school, luckily my stuff was paid for, but you know, you're spending time with certain classes you don't necessarily want, but it helps you get well rounded. But the other thing is that, what do you do next? And when I came into business after a 20-year career for myself, I didn't understand the
Yes.
financial part.
Yes, yes, yes. So I was an educator for 35 plus years in and around higher ed. And so I retired in 2018, December of 2018. So January of 2019, honey, I opened up my college consulting business, and I thought I needed to be like a Denny's menu. So I had like 7 courses and like 14 different coaching programs, and I was like gonna be all the things for all the people. I I was so entrenched, Nicole, in an employee mindset that I had to very quickly learn an entrepreneur mindset. But then I also learned the CEO mindset. And those are three different
Mm,
mindsets.
yeah.
And you have to have all three if you truly want a scalable, sustainable business, something, that will leave a legacy. You need that CEO mindset.
You do. You absolutely need that CEO mindset, and you need to understand charging a fee so you can support things like this. And when people as an entrepreneur, it's like, look, I want to give this away, but I can't pay my electrical bill. So it was when I first came in here learning business from different people, and your family, your friends, your loved ones don't necessarily understand business. And there's a lot
Right.
of people out there giving bad information that I want to give everything away. I don't live in my
Yeah.
mom's basement. I've got to pay the light bill.
Yeah.
And I want money to support my causes.
Right.
How do I
Right.
support my causes if
Right.
I'm poor? And why would somebody with money sponsor something that I have if I can't even control my own my own checkbook,
Right.
if I can't add
Right.
that up?
Right.
So
And
so
money is
looking at that.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
You need literal money for literal energy to pay your literal electric bill, but also you don't want to stop the flow. And that's what's so important. And that's really love too. Is love is one of those things that when you give it out, you get it back a thousandfold. And
Mm.
you look for opportunities to be more loving, and then more opportunities show up. And in some ways, it is loving to share what you're doing with others so that they can trade their dollars for your time and talent. But all money is OPM. That's one of the part of my triangle approach is OPM, which is other people's money. So every single dollar out there is somebody else's dollar. Because either you, Nicole, you have received that dollar from somebody else for your time and talent, or you've got a nonprofit or something and somebody's giving you a dollar that's somebody else's dollar, or you've inherited it. But
Yeah.
we need that synergy. We need that flow to keep the money flowing.
I love that because it is. And as somebody that's a crystal Reiki master, it's like, look, it's an energetic exchange. We don't barter anymore. Now have this wonderful thing of joint ventures and affiliations. So we can both collaborate and make money and share money. And if we have a larger goal and an aligned audience, we can share that movement of money. And I always wondered why people are saying, well, we're meant to be manifest what we want magically, instantly, and change your energy so you can live the abundant life of the abundant, wonderful being that you are. Well, how can I do that if I don't take money.
Right.
So when you're talking to people and you're out there and explaining that, what is that like moment? Is there like a big gasp in the room where it's like, huh, what? What are you saying? You're talking about love and you're talking about charging and you're talking about um, not riding on someone else's dime. So for the rest of my life, I'm in basically a mental debtor's prison. What's the change? I mean, that's got to be like a big moment of silence for you.
In many ways, it is a big moment of silence. Here's the thing, Nicole, and this is not the answer I would like to give, but I'm going to give you the honest answer. Many of us, some of us have brains that when new information comes in and it conflicts with what's already in there, we want to go, huh, let me see how I can incorporate that. However, many of us have brains that when information comes in and it is so contraindicated to everything else that's in there, we immediately reject it.
Yeah.
That's what happens more often than not. So I will do a debt-free degree webinar, and during Q&A, somebody will say, where is the best place that I can go to get the best loan percentage rate? And I will have to say, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Another question might be, I make this amount of money, but how can I basically hide it and restructure it so that my son can get the most amount of loans? Ma'am, I don't know because I'm all about debt-free degree, and so that's the honest truth, Nicole, is
Mm.
that is that taking the student loans is so pervasive, and it's so pervasive from all the different facets. So I have a really dear friend who is a dean at a university, and she and I were talking, and I was explaining to her that there are 33 states that if you work for their state's educational system, higher ed educational system, you get free tuition and fees.
Hmm.
And so I was saying, this is how students can earn a debt-free degree. And she said, no, 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 no. Students, that's not available to student workers. I said, I realize that, but it is available to full-time employees. And there are a lot of jobs in higher ed that do not yet require a bachelor's degree. So you
Yes.
can go in as a janitor or a landscaper or perhaps working in the cafeteria, and you're working 40 hours a week and you can earn, one of the benefits of that is free tuition and fees. Her immediate response, Nicole, her immediate response was, well, that would throw off our graduation rate. So it's just this whole system of this arbitrary, we need you to get out of here in 8 semesters. If you've got to take 10, which is oftentimes the highest graduation rate, then okay, take 10. But like we can't have you dragging this thing out because it'll throw off our graduation rate. So you got to take the loans to get out quicker to then go try to find a job. Imagine entrepreneurs trying to do everything that like paying the electric bill for some entrepreneurs is really, really difficult. But imagine if you also had this other loan payment that you were having to make. And so this one friend of mine, she was very fortunate. She went through COVID and her parents helped her earn her bachelor's degree. And so she did have some scholarships and some other things, but she got through her bachelor's completely debt free. And so she started her own business. Her roommate got through her bachelor's degree not debt free and
Mhm.
then couldn't find a job and decided she would stay at this, and it was an elite private school, stay at this elite school to get her master's during COVID.
Oh my gosh.
And so again, we're looking at exorbitant six-figure debt, like I think almost $200,000 in debt for a bachelor's and a master's. And so fast forward, the friend has graduated and is attempting to work somewhat kind of sort of in her field and is complaining every day about her job to my friend. And my friend kind of glibly says, what are you even doing? Like, I love what I'm doing. Why don't you just quit and open up your own business? To which her friend responded, I can't do that. Her loan payment was four figures, four figures. She
Oh.
said, I can't afford to quit this job because I've got to pay back these loans. It's why debt-free degree, why I say you graduate having good grades, having tons of fun, and landing your dream job because the freedom that you have is quite vast. And so you get to direct your future.
Exactly. You take the control back. And if we're talking about, if we go to the point of the man's taking over, well, which man, what's the proverbial one? So, but it's like, why don't you take over? Take
Mhm.
the control of what you can take control of, and start to understand what that is. And it was, and my mental state of what I was taught or where I was at was, somebody's paying that, but I didn't understand who. And then when it was me, the great thing about being financially free, even if you're not a millionaire, but you can pay your bills and decide to go out when you want, turn the TV off when you want, or the laptop or whatever, and work a business and maybe travel or do something, go out for a walk. Not only are you taking control, but you have the freedom to make a decision. Nobody has to tell you when you can go take a potty break, which there's businesses out there that now give you points for not taking so many potty breaks. That's a whole bladder issue in of itself. That's a whole
Oh my
crazy
gosh,
thing.
I was not aware of that.
They
Wow.
reward you. They reward you. I mean, it's so crazy. There are businesses that will reward you for taking less breaks. Yes, I know if you're in a call center, there's people that take a lot of smoke breaks. They're not always smoking cigarettes. We know that. But you got to do something to get on the phone all day with people. It's a crazy job. But they're not stopping that. They're rewarding for people even to take restroom breaks. And then you're encouraged to drink all this water. And then you're encouraged. It is just such a mess of what you can and can't do, getting out of your seat, moving around. There's a whole point system in it's a very robotic. I mean, Amazon does it. You're on when they give you the phone, they track you, how fast you ship your packages, how often, how quickly you drop stuff off, how quickly in and out you're in your car, in your truck. Even though the delivery can happen within 24 hours, they want it done within a finite system, kind of like that system at Taco Bell when that clock counts down and you're in the drive-through window lane and that clock starts, and if the cashier's smart, they'll turn it off. Right? There's always ways around it, but they really track
Wow.
you. And it's like, okay, maybe you should bring the robots because it's just hard to do. You can't, there's no restroom, so you got to drive 10 miles to get to a bathroom, and that takes time off your clock. So you're penalized for that.
Wow.
They do reward you. I mean, giving lunches and stuff like that, but it's like, how do you get the bonus? And it's so crazy. Yeah, you should keep time on your clock when you're running your own business. You should have a schedule. Why? So you can have more free time and know
Mhm.
that you're not doing busy work. If we take that mindset of being debt free and we take that back, what about all the things in the community we could build? How about saving a neighbor, buying a bigger Christmas tree? How about giving gifts to people? I mean, there's so many, and I worked in Vegas for years. I used to joke about Adelson, the guy who owned the Venetian Palazzo Casino. I used to joke that he'd get buried with his gold bars, right? Because he was a curmudgeon kind of older man. But he's the guy that put CES, the Computer Electronics Show, together. He's the guy that built this megalomaniac casino next to Wynn because they always competed. But he put money in the community. He fed us, he clothed us, we got vacations, we got great insurance, whether you use it or not. You got vacation time, you got PTO, you got time and a half. I mean, you didn't have to worry about what to wear because you're wearing a uniform. They pressed it, they cleaned it for you, they tailored it to you so you looked good, you felt good, they educated you, they paid, if you want to go back to school, they paid for that.
Wow.
You take vacation, family leave if there was an accident, you know. My gosh, this is the way that they gave back. So if you have your own money, you're in charge of your own life, and it gives you such a sense of true confidence and courage. My gosh, just think of the power of what you could build within your community. It's a multi-million-dollar casino. And he had the computer electronics show. So all the upkeep and all this really cool stuff
Mm.
that he's educating the public with,
Mm.
just all the facets and the offshoots that you can have when you have money. Or you can be really cheap and drive around like some of these people do in their little Nissan Sentras and pretend that they're not really rich. and they just kind of want to hoard all their money. That's up to you if you want to be a Scrooge. But you have the choice. And you
Hmm.
have the choice to give, and you have the choice to have a legacy and build a community. And you go to cool rock shows if you want to, right?
Yeah. 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 Well, at the King Center every year we have a theme, and this year's theme is Mission Possible 2. So last year our theme started out Mission Possible. This year's Mission Possible 2. It is building community, uniting a nation the nonviolent way. So it's
Mm,
exactly right. It goes back to one heart at a time, one podcast at a time. Just like he was doing, he was building an infrastructure because he knew that his legacy was truly going to outlive him. And the best way to build that legacy is to involve others. And there's really this understanding that we're all interconnected, this understanding. It's like, I mean, I was taught from a very, very young age, every single person that has any kind of role in an organization, they all have importance. And the two people most important, particularly in a school system, my mom was a teacher, the two people most important in a school system are the janitor and the front office secretary.
hmm.
Right? And so those are two people that are can be overlooked. But
Yeah.
but every year when we were bringing presents, for our teachers, we brought presents to the secretary. We brought presents to the janitor. I tell this story. This was maybe 6 months ago. Mr. and I were out grocery shopping, and the cashier was wearing a name tag, and I'm in Atlanta. It was not a name I'd ever seen before. It was, letters put together that wasn't easily recognizable for how I might pronounce it. But I attempted it, and I said, "Hey," and I called him by name. "How are you today?" I mean, Nicole, his head just popped back, and he looked at me and he goes, "I've been here 8 hours, and no one has called me by name."
Oh.
That's what it takes to lead with love. That's what it takes to see someone,
Hmm.
to call someone by name,
So true. So
to be
true.
paying attention. Like even on my website, I have a heart sighting page. So people out in nature or people around, they'll send me pictures of their hearts, and so that they have found. And so my dear friend Betsy Clark, she talks about reticular activation system. So what we
Hmm.
look for, we find, and then as we find more of it, we begin looking for more of it. And so I could look for hate. I could look for places to be offended. I could look for places, causes to fight against. I want to fight for what I'm for. I want to find love. I want to find opportunities to think about love. So in your commercial at the very beginning, there's a lady with heart-shaped sunglasses,
Hmm.
at the party. And I'm like, well, there's my heart signing for the day. Right. And so it's just important to keep in mind, we each have 168 hours a week. And so where we spend those 168 hours, we get to choose.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to choose that. How wonderful is that where you start to see those things that you're looking for, and that's a manifestation, that's an energetic change in your life, and that works with business. It's a visualization technique
Mm,
that you're starting to see more of that. And it's like, who are your closest friends?
hmm
If they're all angry, it's going to
mm,
something bad is going to happen to you. It's going to eat at you in the least. It's going to take your energy. It's like energetic vampires. They're just draining you of that energy. And certain jobs or businesses, like the gentleman at the store where you said hello to him, you recognized him, you called him by name, and it was a moment in time. No, you're not getting recognized. You're totally silent.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
And yeah, by all means, we all have worked for some other people in a crazy place where you don't want anybody to know who you are. You almost want to run and hide. But when you are, it's customer service has changed. It's changed so much. Being able to talk to people, be able to be recognized and recognize each other, especially the workers. Saying hello. It's how do you say hello? How do you call them? And all this crazy stuff. It's like if we put all that craziness aside and just can
Mhm.
we acknowledge one another as a human being and say hello without an entire script of how I have to say hello to you. That's why I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere where I can look my neighbors in the eye and say hello.
Yeah.
You know, plus I'm by where there's some crocodiles, some gators, alligators. But hey, that's a different story if I don't like a neighbor. But it's really just joking. It's just, how do you, can you say hello to people? And in big cities, it's hard sometimes. It's difficult because there's so much going on, and you don't want to be in a place where that just, takes out of your soul. Let it, hey, this is a moment in time. This is a goal I have to accomplish. And then maybe you can, do something on the side and be an entrepreneur, do something good, come back to the volunteer work. For a
Mhm.
long time, we had a hard time in confronting domestic violence, finding volunteers.
Mm.
There was a point in time where people didn't want
Mhm.
to be volunteers. They
Wow.
didn't. I had a friend of mine who was in charge of volunteers for in-home care, and she just couldn't find them. She just had a really, really hard time in Las Vegas. There's millions of people,
Wow.
and there's a lot of people born and raised in California where it's kind of innate in your DNA. You go volunteer, that's what you do, that's what you're taught. You learn it in school, you learn it in church, or you just learn it in the community. You give a hand out and help people and give a hand up, and it's like nobody wanted to volunteer. People didn't want to do anything. And it's like, wow, how do you do this that people should want to go into homes,
Right.
and talk to people, spend a moment reading a book to them.
Yeah.
It's just so sad that it's like, there's more, I think the dynamic has really changed, and
Yes.
having these conversations have
Yes.
helped. And
Yes.
being able to
Yeah.
talk about the thing that nobody wants to talk about. Oh, you don't want to talk about your money. You don't want to talk about volunteering. We don't want to talk about doing good. We want to talk about being bad and being awful. And that goes back to your friends, right? And people in business. You don't have control. You can sit and complain all day about who your boss is, but what are you doing to take control of your life?
Right.
To
That's
do
right.
what you need to do. Even if you have to have a job and pay your bills, start to look at other outlets, maybe even off the clock. There's things that you could do. Go for a walk, go outside, go for, get outside for a little bit and go be with your family or your friends and do something to get out of that moment. So it's not as bad. That's why it's like that old motto, work hard, play hard.
Hmm.
So you can get to that play time and that and have a good time and enjoy yourself. And I think that moment of joy is has been, that's why I'm saying, non-player characters, where's the joy in life? How do you have joy? Where
Yeah.
are you happy if you're not happy at home? And COVID showed that to a lot of us, that home wasn't necessarily a happy time. So it's like work was an escape for so many people.
Hmm.
And that was like, wow, oops, I can't get away. So building not only a debt-free life and a good community and starting to look for love, you're going to change on a different energetic level.
Yes.
And either
Yeah.
the people around you and the community is going to change. Let's make that change. How do we change a million people? If you start to change the communities and people actually put their phone down and talk to you or call for help, and recognize maybe that you're in trouble and act, maybe at least ask if you need help,
Hmm.
and are willing to support you, then they'll see that hey, this is not a healthy relationship here, or maybe there's something going on in the neighborhood that's public that you should put a stop to if you can, so you live in a better place.
Yeah.
Getting to know your neighbors, they won't tolerate that.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of that too, is to tolerate other people's decisions.
Yeah.
But I could go on about this forever. I love having this conversation with you, and I want people to see that Love Revolution page and really just evolve and looking at all the hearts that people find and all the beauty that they see in it and what you share and have fun. And of course, look at that picture of you with your heart-shaped glasses. But before I give you the last word, I do want to hear about that kiss story.
Okay. So, I was living on St. Simon's Island, Georgia, which is an island about an hour south of Savannah and about an hour north of Jacksonville. And it was in October, so all the Halloween stuff was out. and Kiss was playing at a venue in Jacksonville. And so me and my husband and a friend of ours decided we were going to go to the Kiss concert. And because Halloween makeup was out, we were gonna do our faces and we were gonna dress up. And so I was Paul Stanley, my husband was Gene Simmons, and then our friend was Peter Chris. And so we go to the concert. We're driving up I-95, and we get pulled over by a state patrolman. And so the state patrolman, after we get pulled over, he's like shining the light in and he goes, Where have y'all been? And in my mind, I was like, Sir, where have you been? You don't know that this is Kiss makeup. So anyway, you know, uh, you know, putting love into the world and Dr. Love. So my nickname is Dr. Love. That came from my friend Norm Wasserman at NRG, which is a networking group, which is how I met Colleen. And so Norm named me Dr. Love. And so on that group, somebody will say Dr. Love, and then somebody will say the Kiss song. And so anyway, that memory of seeing your shirt, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, love Kiss.
It's so funny. Las Vegas used to have like a mini Kiss band,
Oh,
like a
really?
miniature size. They're so crazy, but it's good advertising. I mean, we're still talking about Gene Simmons. He's got
Yeah.
his hand in every. He's got his own. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
had
Talk
his own
about a
candy.
brilliant businessman.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he did it out of the love for his mother.
Mhm.
Is, right? How can he raise a family, support them, support his mother, do good and be good? And he's still talking about that like, hey, if you want to learn a few techniques, I'm willing to share that with you. As here's what I learned. And he talks about that all the time. And he doesn't just talk about business, but he talks about finances and how important it is in order to live and grow and prosper, and he wants other people to prosper too. And it's just when we start to think about that, it's a collaboration, it's a joint venture.
Yes. Yes, it is that interconnection. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
so how wonderful. I want to leave you with the last words, if there's any last takeaways you want people to know from this conversation today.
Number one, I love you, Nicole. I love your mission. I love your community. I love what you stand for. I love this time being with you. I'm so grateful that you've given me this opportunity. So thank you. For anybody who wants more information about Debt Free Degree, obviously you can go to my website. I also give away the first chapter of the book, which lays out the entire grit blueprint. I explain it all. And you were talking about money, and you were talking about money and being flow, and how entrepreneurs want to give something away for free. For me, the grit blueprint, which is the first chapter of the book, that's the recipe. So you can go online and you can Google any recipe and get the free recipe. You actually have to do the work. And so for people who say people should pay for the recipe, I'm like, here's the recipe. You can have it for free. Now let's dig in together and let's do the work. So if you just go to my website, drroz.love/DFD. So really easy, DRROZ.LOVE on my website pages and in love /DFD. You get the free chapter of the book. Let's talk about Debt Free Degree. Let's talk about love yourself enough to say no to student loans and yes to financial freedom.
Oh, I love that. Yes, financial freedom at any age here, and any range, and it just crosses all the barriers, right?
Right.
So I love it. Thank you so much. I put that information in the chat, you guys, in
Thank you.
LinkedIn, or if you're watching us on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, and lots of love to Dr. Roz for what she does share, and the seeds that she's planted here today and what she's giving, the gift that keeps on giving. And so you can keep on giving and prosper and grow. And thank you so much for that. You guys, I'll see you again Wednesday at 3:30. We're having a group podcast with the wonderful speakers from the 2026 summits. So join that. We'll also be live again on Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notified, and leave a comment so we can push and grow the community, and more wonderful people like Dr. Roz can be put on the stage. Thank you so much.